Hello everyone. My name is David. I'm News Now Houston. That's the way I'm generally referred to around here. I'm the guy that's usually behind the camera that you don't get to see. Wanted to come on here real quick and update you on some information. I got out of jail last night and waiting in just a little bit. I'm going to run and post Philip's bond. That's Philip Turner, the 2C on YouTube. Interesting how this played out. Let's give you a quick background. I went over on Saturday and did some filming, took some pictures outside the Shell facility, and met up with some Deer Park police officers. They were very nice guys. I'm going to post that video unedited before I put this up, so that everybody can see how that went. There's going to be some of you that give me grief because I answer questions or whatever, and there are a lot of you that always do, and that's fine. You know, grab a camera, go do it yourself. You don't like the way I do it, that's how you do it. All right? I give these officers a little bit of leeway because they need that. All right? As long as they don't trample on my rights, as long as they don't break the law, like I said, they get a little leeway. As long as they're not demanding, like they own me, I work with them to a degree. Again, each instance is a little different, but you know, look at the videos, and you know, if you appreciate what I do, then that's great, and if you don't, I understand. It's not for everybody. Some of you like, you know, if you're just a cop hater, then you know, you maybe don't appreciate what I do. I'm not anti-police. I'm pro accountability. Honest police officers have nothing to fear from a camera or from me. Crooks everywhere, criminals, they need to be afraid. They're the only ones. So what happened to me? I filmed on that Saturday. Everything was good, and I left, and I needed some more pictures and B-roll stuff. So I went over off of Battleground Road, which has a lot of chemical plants on it and stuff, and I stayed on the public right-of-way and took pictures, and was contacted by a couple of sheriff's deputies, actually 3 of them, which is expected. I expect that, and that's fine. Those gentlemen were perfectly legit. They respected my rights, and they understood that I was engaged in a constitutionally protected activity. I was dressed exactly the same when I met these gentlemen and deputies as I was in the video that you'll see from Deer Park a couple of days prior. I have like a camouflage, they call it ACU shirt. It's not a jacket, it's a shirt. It's a light shirt. Generally when I wear a t-shirt or something and I go out and film, I wear that shirt over that shirt as an insulator. The shirt was a gift from my son. My son did 3 tours in Afghanistan and recently got out of the military, and it's a pass on. And I know a lot of you won't get that. I'm ex-military myself. I've always worn a lot of military clothing. Even after I came out of the military, it's something that a lot of veterans do. If you've never served, you won't understand. You won't get it. And that's okay. But for my brothers that have served, I know you understand. But this particular shirt is special to me, and I wear it frequently. Not just when I film, I wear it frequently. So, one of the deputies that I encountered about a mile away from the Shell facility, which is where I was taking some pictures, his name is Terry Kimball. He is the liaison for the Harris County Sheriff's Office Joint Task Force on Terrorism. This is his business card that he gave me. Okay. And when I met up with that gentleman, he was nice enough to tell me that I wasn't doing anything wrong. Now, this was only about a mile away from the Shell facility. I've since talked to him, and he is can't comment publicly, of course, but I believe that he is dismayed with the situation. So I left him and told him I was going up the highway, take a couple pictures, and I'd be gone. I left him and went up by the Shell facility. I needed some pictures of trash on the side of the road. And I noticed the other day that there was a lot of trash on the road outside the Shell facility. So that's what I was doing. I walked over there. I walked along, looked at a couple of things, took a picture of the giant Shell sign that you know it's really big, and I took a picture of that. Still photographs, not videos. I took a video of traffic going by on the feeder road, and then I walked over just the other side of Center Street on public property, and I was approached by a deputy. Now, right before I as I crossed over the driveway there, I saw security off to my left, so I turned my iPhone camera on. I didn't expect any trouble. When I talked to Deer Park and the security guard the other day, they were going to put me on some kind of list and tell everybody that, give them a description of me, so if they saw me, you know, it would be all right. And so I didn't expect any problems. And being as my prior contact with the people at that facility was so good, I mean, I thought it was really well handled by them. They're a little pushy, but that's expected. I didn't expect any problems. I was only going to be there a short time, take some quick pictures of trash and stuff, and be gone. I crossed over Center Street. I noticed security, so I turned on my iPhone and stuck it in my pocket right here, like I usually do, frequently do. White pickup truck pulls up. This guy gets out, starts screaming. I can't hear him clearly because, as you noticed in the Deer Park video that's posted alongside this, it's kind of loud out there on the service road. I got something. As soon as he got out, he had his hand on his gun. So I immediately raised my hands and said, I am not armed. I have no ill intent. I'm just taking pictures. He said something about throw my camera down on the ground, and it had rained the night before, and so it's all muddy. And so I asked him, can I hand you my camera or do something else with it? And he just kept screaming at me. I said, sir, I'm trying to de-escalate things here. I'm trying to comply. And he just kept screaming random stuff that I couldn't even understand each time I tried to ask him how he wanted me to comply. Finally, I just gave up and turned around and just kept my hands in the air. He came up, grabbed the camera out of my hand, threw it down in the mud, and handcuffed me, and then searched me, which, if anybody that's seen my videos knows, I prefer it when police search me. I let them search me on purpose. I want to de-escalate things. I do not want to accidentally get shot or beat up or whatever. Okay? I never resist a search. Even if I don't want to be searched, I would not resist a search. So, that deputy's name was Deputy Ibarra. Throwing my camera down in the mud upset me quite a bit, as you might imagine. And I gave him a bit of a tongue lashing for it. And basically, that pissed him off. That just really set him off. So I was arrested, and he called the DA, got them to take charges on me for obstructing a police officer or public servant. Basically, that is a contempt of cop charge. That's a charge they use when they can't come up. When you haven't broken any law, they invent it, and then they'll word their report, which is what he did, in order to create the circumstances that they want to cover up what they're doing. They don't care if they get you convicted in court. It's not about that. They expect that you'll beat the case. What it's about is locking you up for a period of time to teach you a lesson. You dared to talk back to the police, to a public servant, and he's going to put you in your place. People, let me tell you, get your cameras, get your asses out in the street, start recording these public servants. They're the ones that need to be put back in place. They work for us. We're the citizens. They work for us. Don't ever let a public servant tell you any different or treat you any different. So, put me in a police car, transported me to a substation. Very nice deputy. His name was Deputy D. Millay, and he is out of the Wallaceville District 3 substation. Told him what happened. He asked me, and I told him what happened. I was honest with him. Gave him one of my business cards. Told him to go look at some of my videos. I said, I told him that what had happened, and he felt like it was wrong. And so he called Deputy Ybarra and just told him that, that this wasn't right. And Deputy Ybarra wouldn't have none of that, basically because of the tongue lashing I'd given him. So Deputy Millay went the extra mile for me and tried to get the DA to drop it. The DA basically said, hey, as long as Ybarra wants to run with it, we can't drop it. Off to jail I went. Well, once they realized who I was, when I got to jail, they basically held me incommunicado. They kept me in cells that didn't have working telephones, so I couldn't call anybody. So I was there for quite a while before I could get word out that I had been arrested. When I do an audit, I always notify Philip, give him a check-in time, and if I don't check in, he knows that something's happened to me. I didn't do that this day because I didn't expect any problems, and I wasn't doing any audits. I was just there for pictures of trash on the side of the freeway. So they held me in cells that didn't have working phones or no phones at all. And at one point they made the mistake of putting me in a cell with a working phone, and I was able to call Philip. They held me about 30 hours in different holding cells. They kept losing my processing paperwork. Imagine that. Repeatedly. Not once, but repeatedly. Funny, it didn't happen to anybody else, but yeah. Because you can't bond out until you process in. Went to the probable cause hearing. I was dumbfounded when the prosecutor read the police officer's statement. Dumbfounded. It is such a fabrication and lie that I just could not believe it. So I told them that I had the entire encounter on video on my cell phone, and offered to give that to them, and basically trying to prove to them that I was innocent. I told them that the video would vindicate me and show that 99% of what the officer had put in the report was a total fabrication. Fabrication, such an innocent word. It's a fucking lie. He said that I refused to cooperate, refused to be patted down, all of this stuff that is absolutely not true. All right, so I was able to get word out to Philip and get somebody to come and post my bond. Of course, the last person to get released was, guess who? What they do is they take you first come, first serve as they post the bonds. And my bond was posted way ahead of a lot of people that were in there. But I digress. I expected as much. The sheriff's department at that point had been call flooded, and they were pretty pissed off. Deputies were coming to the window to look in to see who I was. If the door was open, they would put their head in there and say, which one of you is David? And I knew at that point you guys were calling. I knew at that point that I had help. Because I was worried for a while there, I'll tell you the truth. I felt pretty alone. But, so anyway, they came to let me out for my bond, and they give you your property back. Of course, my cell phone's missing out of my property. It's inventoried. Deputy Millay, when I was talking to him, I stipulated to him, I said, make sure that you account for everything. They said, because if anything goes wrong here, they're going to be looking for a scapegoat, and I don't want it to be you. Because Deputy Millay was a total professional. He's an honorable person. And I have nothing bad to say about that man. I wish that Harris County Sheriff's Department had more gentlemen like him. I really do. Instead of thugs like Ibarra and Garza. Yeah, thugs. Straight up gangsters. That's what these guys are. Anyway, property missing. Cell phone, gone. Video camera, gone. No receipt, no warrant, nothing in the bag. It's just missing. The deputies couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure out what happened. They said they'd not seen that. Imagine that. Called the district attorney when I got to the phone this morning. District attorney has no knowledge of the whereabouts of my property. So at this point, my cell phone and my video camera are just missing. And the cell phone has, of course, has the video that will show what an idiot Officer Ibarra is, what a tyrant, treacherous tyrant he is. They really should go back and look at any case he's been involved in, because if he lied on something as stupid and simple as this, what would he do on something more significant? Anyhow, so I'm out. I'm going to go in a little bit post Phillips bond, try and get him out. And I wanted you guys to know that I appreciate every phone call that was made, everything that was done to help me. I appreciate it. They're coming after me real hard now. I'm sure that they realize by now that their charges against Phillip are bullshit and won't hold up. The trespass charge, he's clearly on public property. It ain't gonna work. So if they can't get him, they're gonna come after me. And Harris County Sheriff's Department and the district attorney here, when you expose any of their personnel, what they like to do is make an example of you. That discourages other journalists and people from coming after them and exposing them. So that's what they're going to do with me. They're already throwing out disinformation and lies, and I expect that they are just going to want to throw me in jail and lose the key. In the meantime, folks, Deputy Ibarra, Y-B-A-R-R-A. He works out of District 3, Wallaceville, Harris County Sheriff's Department substation. This man is a liar. This man is a tyrant. This man is a treacherous thief of liberty. The phone number to that substation is 713-455-8050. Anybody that wishes to do so should call there and express to them that as representatives of the sheriff, they have an obligation to hold our Constitution and respect it, not be wiping their ass with it. I'll post more updates as time goes on. Like I said, I'm going to go get Phillip now. Again, I appreciate you guys. Everybody that made that phone call for me. everybody that kept asking and poking and prodding, Carlos Miller, Felipe, Philip. I mean, these are just a few that I can name off the top of my head. You know, when you're sitting in that jail cell that's 38 degrees, by the way, folks, and you're feeling kind of lonely, it's nice to know that there are folks like that out there rooting for you and backing you up. So all the people that I didn't name, I'm sorry. There were a lot of you, and some of you I don't know, but I appreciate it. I'll update you guys as more becomes available. Thank you.